while we do that, we're going to talk a little bit about England coming our way for 3 tests, 2nd, 9th and 16th of July. Dave, they named their pre-tour squad, I guess you'd call it. It's not the final squad to tour to Australia, but we can see here there are plenty of names who haven't played before. There's some uncapped players there. What did you make of this squad? An eye to the future, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Year out, he did the same thing prior to the previous World Cup, and whether this is the group that tours, some experienced players missing, we'd expect them to filter back in. So, but they've got some good young kids who've got great form, and what we know is, they're probably the best resource team in the world, plenty of money, a lot of professional teams, so a lot to pick from, and whoever they bring will be a quality side.
One of the young guys in form is Lewis Liner, someone with a name at least that plenty of people here are going to be pretty familiar with the Liner. Do you know much about Lewis Liner?
Yeah, I saw him play a bit over there. Obviously he's a young man, and he's been really strong for them. So, like I say, they're going to bring a lot of good kids over, and not surprised that they'll mix it up this time.
All right, so that's Lewis Liner, another of the bolters, certainly a youngster, 19-year-old Henry Arundel. He has been lighting it up for London Irish, and he is also in this squad. Here's what Eddie Jones had to say about him.
Yeah, he probably reminds me a lot of Matt Giddo in terms of his desire to attack. Not the way he plays, but his desire to attack. And I was particularly impressed when I went out and watched him play against Wasps. The first ball was kicked to him, he knocked it on cold. So it wasn't a great start. There's all this hoo-ha about him being a fantastic player, and he knocks the ball on cold. Next ball he gets a long pass, sees backspace, chips and scores. And that's the sort of mindset you want to see from young players that want to take on the game.
Well, it's no wonder that he's on their radar. Dave, you were just saying he's absolutely lightning out there in the field. How much have you seen him play?
I haven't seen an enormous amount of him. I watch a little bit of London Irish because they got most of their players are Australian. So he is absolutely lightning, and it's
something you can't coach, though, isn't it? Speed. It's a beauty to have in your pocket.
Yeah, and it's essential for guys out wide. You look at someone like Marika having that sort of lightning speed with the work ethic, repeat efforts. So he's been impressive. Interesting
that you talk about Marika, because I did want to ask you about the 3 players named in a report by Georgina Robinson in the Sydney Morning Herald this week, Marika Koroibete, Samu Karevi and Quade Cooper, as being the 3 overseas players that you'll pick. Can we just ask, is that accurate? Are you likely to have those guys back?
Well, Georgina doesn't stray too far away from the truth, does she? So I'll always certainly talk to all 3 of those guys, and as we've talked about, we're going to bring 3 guys into that group, so they're leading contenders.
We're all keen to pick your brains a little bit more on that, Dave, so we'll kick it off with Marika. Why Marika? What does he bring?
As I talked about before, so he's lightning quick, but he is powerful. His work ethic's phenomenal. I've never seen a guy who trains with that sort of intensity and plays with that sort of intensity, and whether he's got the ball or whether he's tackling, everything's brutal. So I think he's phenomenal, and we think that'll be really important against an England side.
And we came to love what Samu's done in the red jersey, but also the gold jersey. But what is it from a coaching point of view that you really like about Samu Karevi's game?
Yeah, he really impressed me last year. I mean, I coached a fair bit against Samu. I thought he's always a big, strong attacker, but maybe not as interested defensively. But he's made really big shifts in that part of his game. He's got himself really fit. So his repeat efforts were excellent, and his ability to have influence with our young group, outstanding. I thought he was excellent last year.
Out of those 3, I wonder whether Quade Cooper is the one that has kind of raised some eyebrows. He came back, he did an outstanding job last year, but I think there was maybe a feeling within the rugby public that was it, and if he's not going to get to the World Cup, and people are assuming that he won't, maybe he wants to, that he was done. But you're going there again?
Well, potentially, Nick.
There it is.
But I can't speak highly enough of Quade.
Yeah.
We sat down and he was home from Japan. James was injured. We went through the French series with Noah and had a coffee with Quade and Sanctuary Cove. And we had a chat around, what was required, the importance of the influence he'd have on young men, and if he came back into our group. And He was outstanding. He didn't get to play against the All Blacks and had to bide his time, but when he got his chance, outstanding against South Africa.
You talk about a lot of Aussies over there at London Irish. There's plenty of the LA Guiltinis. We just saw some footage there. He was training today with the Guiltinis. If he were to come back in your squad, would he have permission from you to play for him in the next couple of weeks, just to keep the fitness up and all that, you know?
Mate, he'll probably get a couple of coin for it, wouldn't he? Or maybe a share in a gym.
Exactly, with Adam Gilchrist. All right, so the other big question, I guess, that everyone's wondering, Taniela Tupou, saw him get injured here a few weeks ago. Is he going to be fit for the first test?
Yeah, we're pretty confident. He's got a lot of love and care this week. You know, we had our nutritionist up spending a bit of time with his in-laws and who are going to help with that side of things. Our physio and one of our trainers headed up to Sanctuary Cove and smashed him for a couple of days. He was down here with a promo for you guys on Wednesday, and he stayed on to get work. So him and I flew back up this afternoon. So you know, he's already about 6 kilos down, which is a positive.
6 kilos down on what? Where he finished here or where he got to?
I'm not going to say the number.
Either way, 6 kilos less than that calf has to carry around.
Yeah, exactly right.